I don't have any. It's in the car.
I have some of my first 30 minutes.
You're rolling.
Oh, great.
She's getting work breath right
Need some gum, I got you. We go. Anybody else?
We're going?
Oh, we got the same, right.
Hey everyone, my name is Faith Gerardo. We are going to do a final expense in-home. So if y'all have any questions, put them in the comments or ask away, but we can always respond afterwards. But for now, we're going to do this live. And I'm going to go through it pretty much like I do normally with any of my clients after I've sat down with them. Okay? All right. So, have we gone over how old you guys are?
now. Go right ahead.
All right, so it's Sue, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and Mike, is that correct? Now, do you go by anything else, or is that just Mike?
Mike's
Straight up Mike. Okay, good. Because I had an appointment with a guy yesterday, and his name was Reginald. I kept calling him Reginald, and like 30 minutes in, he goes, "Just call me Buddy." Okay. I was like, all right. I wish I could have known that from the beginning. So, all right. So Mike, Sue, this is that form that I got back from you guys. I'm sure you remember filling it out, but always like to just start just by reintroducing myself. You guys, give you a little bit of insight of what I do, who I am, and what we're going to be talking about today. Okay.
Okay.
So, like I said, my name's Faith. Y'all call me Faith. No need to know my last name, nothing like that. It's too long, too hard to pronounce. But this is my state license. So, like I told you on the phone, basically, anybody in Madison County that fills these out, they come back to me, okay? And so I'm the local state agent here that gets all of them. And my job today is really just to show y'all your options, okay? So what I do and what the state is doing is they're working with about 20 different companies, all right? They're all on this sheet right here. And they regulate these companies to make sure that they're getting you the best, most premium products, okay? And so my goal in the next 20 minutes or so is just really to find the best options for the two of you. Okay, now we're not talking about Joe Bob's life insurance down the road, all right? We're all talking about A-rated insurance companies. I'm sure y'all recognize some of these. But all of these companies have so many different types of products that can really serve you. So my main goal is to find the ones that make the most sense for y'all. Okay, a lot of people think it's a one-size-fits-all. I don't believe that. I want to find the product that makes the most sense for you, your family, and your finances. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go through this worksheet real quick. I'm going to ask a couple health questions because I want to make sure y'all can qualify for what I show you. I don't want to show you some real pretty price and then at the end you get declined, all right? But so I'm going to go through these health questions. I'm going to go through a couple financial questions, make sure that everything that we're going through makes sense for you guys. At the end, what I'll do is I'll work up 2 or 3 plans. We'll go over those together. If y'all have any questions at all, you feel free to ask me. But I'm going to work up 2 or 3 plans that fit your needs, all right? Does that make sense? You guys have any questions about that? No? Okay, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I always start with ladies first. Miss Sue, what is your full legal name?
Susan Ann
Molly.
Sarah.
And how do you spell that?
M-A-H-D-I.
Perfect. And Miss Sue, what is your date of birth?
11/7/67.
67. Perfect. So if my math is correct, that makes it 52?
Yes.
Right? Okay, perfect. Listen, I am no mathematician, so y'all are going to have to help me out with this, okay?
Use Susan Ann Schroeds today.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing shows. And what
I'll
about
be
you?
Monty.
There we go. And Mr. Mike, what is your date of birth?
8/20/69.
2069. So we are 51, right?
50.
Just
For
turned-
3 more days.
For 3 more days. See, that's why I asked you to make sure you follow up on me because my math is terrible. But I'm great at insurance, so I got y'all taken care of. And what's your full legal name, Mike?
Michael Gary Motti.
Hey, Gary.
He really is.
Perfect. Man, golly, can y'all believe it's August already?
No.
Can't even believe it's 2020 yet alone August. Okay, so now Sue, Mike, are y'all retired? Are you currently working? What's going on?
I still work.
You still work? Okay. And what about you, Miss Sue?
I work.
So you still work? Okay. Now, Mike, separate from Sue, what do you have coming in per month?
About $40,000 a month.
40,000 a month. Okay, beautiful. Can you be my shit? No, I would never say that. No. Sue, what do you have coming in per month?
Sugar daddy.
Aside from Mike,
About 2,000.
about 2,000. Beautiful.
It's not what you've been telling me.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll write you in as a beneficiary. Now, so together it's about 42 per month. Perfect. Now, I'm guessing, now does that come into a bank account or does that come to a card? How does that come to y'all?
Bank.
Comes to a bank account? Who do you all bank
Checking
with?
account.
Who do you bank with?
Cadence,
Cadence?
I guess that's who we bank with.
That's just your separate account, right, Sue?
yes.
I just make the money.
That's right, that's right. Perfect. Perfect. Now, y'all have a beautiful home here. Do you currently have a mortgage out on this home?
Yes.
You do? Okay, do you know the mortgage balance?
I think it's about 200,000.
About 200? Perfect.
Mhm.
And how long ago was that loan?
15 years ago.
About 15, and do you have about 15 left? Perfect. And what are your monthly mortgage payments?
About 1995.
1995 per month. Beautiful. And just say, if y'all were to sell the house tomorrow, do you know what it would appraise for?
Probably about 300.
About 300? That's awesome, you guys. So those are like 100,000 in equity right there. Beautiful. And any other plans to try and pay that loan off any earlier than the next 15 years, or no plans?
Just paying on it. Just
Paying
paying
on it.
it off.
That's perfectly fine. It's just kind of give me a little bit more information, y'all. All right, perfect. All right, so any other forms of life insurance that you guys might have, whether it's with work, outside of work, anything like that?
I have a small policy,
Okay, is that through work or outside of work?
through work,
Through work? All right, beautiful. How much is that?
50,000.
50,000? Beautiful. That's awesome that you have that, because not everyone does, for sure. What about you, Mike?
I have enough to cover 5 years of income if I die.
5 years of income. Now, I told you I wasn't good at math, so how much is that?
About 40,000 for it, about 5. I have about 2.5 million.
2.5 million. That's amazing. And that's all through work?
No, that's just one of your companies right here, America.
America.
Mhm.
They're actually one of my top companies, so
Yeah.
you're in really good hands there. That's awesome. And so now let me ask specifically, is all of that 2.5 million with America, or is some of that with work?
No, it's all with America.
It's all with America.
Yeah, I had to get blood and they drew blood and
Okay, so you went, okay, got the whole shebang. I got you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
pays to be 6 foot 185.
That's right. You're a lucky lady, right? That's right.
Oh yeah, bro.
Oh, that's perfect. Now, before we get into these health questions, y'all, let's go through this form a little bit. Now, this is mainly talking about final expense insurance, burial insurance. So when you guys were filling this out, tell me a little bit about why you filled it out. Have you recently had anyone pass away where you've experienced this, or what are your main goals for this?
Yeah, my mom passed away young.
Oh,
so
yeah?
I'm almost her age
Yeah, and
when
so,
she passed away, so makes me wonder.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so since you already have a little bit in place, is this mainly looking to just kind of add on top of that if anything were to happen anytime soon?
Yes, because with the amount of money he's making, I may not work much longer.
Yeah, I'd imagine. So what about you, Mike? Do you have any?
Well, if I die, I want her to get everything that I already have established, so I just don't want her to have to pay extra. So I just want to get the best plan that I can get to take care of them.
That's perfect. And you got that 2.5 million really to make sure that she can live
Mhm.
after something happens to you,
Exactly.
right? So I mean, this mortgage can be paid off, but what we really want to focus on in this form specifically was burial costs, right?
Mhm.
So she's not having to worry about coming out of pocket for 15, 20 grand there. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. That's perfect.
Is that the most I can get?
No, we can definitely look at other options. I was more, when we're really focused on burial insurance, most people fall within that range. If you want to look outside that, I'm happy to.
Mhm.
As I showed you, we do everything from mortgage protection, final expense insurance, future income planning, and identity theft protection. So there's a lot of options there, but I was just more specifically targeting this form. If you want to go into any of that, we can definitely do that. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Perfect. Now, do y'all have any kids?
Yes.
Yeah. How many kids?
2.
2 kids. Perfect. Are they still in home, or are they kicked out of the house?
They're grown.
Beautiful. And are they close by? Are they close here in Huntsville, or?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it that they're local. That's perfect. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and shift gears. We're gonna go into these health questions. I'm gonna start really broad, and then we'll get more particular. Again, Miss Sue, I'm gonna start with you first, okay? So, any history of heart attack or stroke?
No.
No. Any history of cancer?
No.
Any diabetes?
No.
No. And that's not no like pre-diabetes, anything like that. None.
No.
Okay, perfect. Any lung issues like COPD, asthma, bronchitis, any of those? Anything you've been prescribed an inhaler for?
I do have an inhaler for,
Okay.
occasional seasonal,
Seasonal allergies or,
Allergies, yeah.
okay. And do you remember the name of that inhaler?
albuterol.
I love albuterol. Perfect. But none of the major issues, right?
No.
Okay, perfect. Any liver issues like hepatitis or anything like that? Any kidney problems? No dialysis? None of that?
No.
Perfect. And Miss Sue, are you a nicotine or non-nicotine user?
Non.
None. Wonderful. And Mike, I'm gonna switch gears over to you. All those same major questions: heart attack, stroke, cancer, any of those?
I have nothing but diabetes of all the questions you asked her.
Okay. And are you type 1 or type 2?
2.
Type 2. And how old were you when you were diagnosed, Mike?
47.
47. Perfect. Now, any diabetic complications with that, like neuropathy, retinopathy? No, maybe just not missing any toes down there, are you? No? Okay, great. Great. And are you currently on any insulin, or is it just oral medications?
I take a shot and a pill.
So both? Okay.
Mhm.
Do you know the name of that pill?
Metformin.
And you've been on the insulin since you were diagnosed?
I don't take insulin, I just take a shot.
Just take it. Do you remember the name of that shot?
Trulicity.
It's Trulicity.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Perfect. All right, Sue, I'm going to come back to you. Any prescribed medications that you're taking now?
Thyroid medicine.
Thyroid medicine? Okay. That's not a problem at all. Anything else?
No.
Nothing at all. Man, healthy as a cucumber. I love it. Anything that you can think of maybe in the past that you aren't taking anymore?
Well, in the past, I had, the Tylenol with codeine.
Okay, so just like a painkiller, was that
Yeah.
just for a situation or surgery? Oh, okay. That's not a problem. If you think of anything, and there's nothing else that you've been chronically diagnosed with, doctor says you have.
Correct.
Great. And what's your current height and weight?
5'3",
If you want to write on that piece of paper, slide it over to me. You can.
180.
108, I love it. Perfect. All right, what about you, Mr. Mike? Any prescribed medications other than the Trulicity and Metformin?
I take a little blood pressure pill.
Low blood pressure?
Yeah,
Let me get, is it Lisinopril?
that's it.
I'll tell you.
Man, how'd you know that? You a doctor?
I mean, listen, I have my doctorate. I mean, it's like an honorary doctorate, you know. I mean, it's no big deal. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Did you tell her?
I'm telling you, everybody has Lisinopril. I'm telling you, it makes me sound really smart, but I'm not. But it just helps me out. All right. So, and were you non-nicotine or nicotine?
No, Nick.
No nicotine. Perfect. And what's your current height and weight, sir?
6'2".
Uh-huh.
About 150.
Perfect.
Right?
Close to it.
Heavier.
Yeah, that's right. And just so y'all know, if there's no question of height and weight, I usually don't even ask that question. But I just wanted to show you how I present that in home. If anyone is near what I think might be close to the height and weight, I always ask, and I always ask both people, whether one's super skinny or one's not so skinny. And you just kind of start making it like it's part of the plan, okay?
Not so skinny.
All right, listen, anything else you guys can think of health history wise? And it's not a trick question. I'm just making sure I'm covering all my bases.
I'm actually 180.
Okay.
I gotta tell you the truth.
I appreciate that. You know, I would have seen it on your license here in a minute anyway, so. Okay, perfect. Well, listen, you guys, this is pretty much all the information I need. What I'm going to do here in the next couple of minutes is I'm going to work up a couple plans for you guys. It might just take me a few minutes, so if y'all need to do anything, feel free to go ahead and get up and do whatever. I'll give you a holler when I'm ready. But mainly, we just want to focus on those burial costs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll holler for y'all when I'm ready. Okay. All right. So this is the point where I either call my manager. Okay, and at this point I've told them, so if they're still sitting at the table with me when I say, hey, this will just take me a couple of minutes, I'll let y'all know when I'm ready. Most people, I feel like, get up and kind of do something, okay? But if they don't, then I just say, okay, this is perfect, this is all I need. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna call my product specialist real quick and he'll give me the exact direction I need to go in, okay? That's when I call my product specialist. If I don't, like for my example, I don't call in home anymore unless it's a very specific situation. So what I'll do is if y'all are still sitting here, okay, I already know, so either I've called my manager or product specialist. And I have already I know what direction to go in now. Okay, so we're mainly looking at burial costs for these two. Looking at Miss Sue, no issues that I should be concerned about. Potentially the albuterol, but I'm still gonna run her through, try and get that passed through since it's just a seasonal thing. Usually when it's seasonal, people aren't taking that prescription out a lot. If you guys are unfamiliar with any of these medications, if the albuterol, you don't know what it is, Google it. So this is the point where I'm sitting here and I'm either calling my manager, I'm Googling my medications, or I'm sitting here knowing what direction I'm going and I'm gonna work up the quotes, okay? So if they're still sitting here, so you guys from Huntsville originally?
No.
No, where are you from?
St. Louis.
St. Louis, Missouri, right? You don't say Missouri, right? No.
I say Missouri.
Oh, you say Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone told me you say Missouri.
If you're in the Boot Hills.
In the Boot Hills. Now, are you from Missouri too? No, where are you from?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Yeah,
You know the song?
I do. Take Me Home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And your kids were born and raised here. What brought y'all to Huntsville if you're from Missouri and West Virginia? That's very random.
Military.
Military? Up at the Arsenal, is that right? Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm basically just working on my quotes. As you can see, I'm trying to just get them to talk. All right, you keep asking about kids, you keep asking about grandkids. What about Fluffy over here? How long have y'all had them? I'm really just trying to get their mind off of things, okay? So what I do is I'm gonna work up these quotes and I basically have them ready, and if they're gone and up, I say, oh, hey, Miss Sue, I'm ready for you. And she's like, okay, sweetie, I'll bring you a sweet tea. I say thank you, you know, anything like that. All right, so they're back at the table if they've gone, or I say, perfect, all right, I got everything ready for you, all right? So everything that I'm gonna show you guys is what's called a level whole life product, okay? The reason why I emphasize the level is because what that means is that what you're looking at today is a locked in amount. That means that no matter how your health changes, no matter how your age changes as you get older, unless you stay the same age, I mean, that if you do that, let me know how you do that. But if no matter how any of that changes, this is gonna remain locked in. So you guys are locking this in at the age of 50 and 52. Right? Okay. So, and the whole life means that basically no matter how and where something happens to y'all, you cannot outlive this product. And the reason why I want to emphasize that is because when you guys are looking around, I'm sure you've been, there are products there that are going to increase on you over time as you get older. And that really doesn't service you because when you really need it the most in our 60s, 70s, 80s, that it becomes unaffordable. Okay, so I want to show you something that's gonna stay locked in for life, right? And then whole life, obviously, meaning you cannot outlive it. So we're not looking at anything that's gonna end at a certain age, so you paid into this whole time, it's not gonna pay out to your family. This is level whole life, so it's gonna pay out no matter what, all right? And and these are all immediate coverage. What that means is that if y'all are like, hey, Faith, I want this to start today, and something happens to you tomorrow, you guys are taken care of. This will pay out. You're both healthy enough to get that immediate coverage. Don't let anyone tell you don't, okay? All right, so all that makes sense so far? All right, perfect. So Miss Sue, I'm gonna start with you, all right? So what we're looking at is a level whole life policy, just like I said. This is a $10,000 option. It's gonna be $50 a month, and all of these options are gonna come with what's called double accidental death. So if you were to die in a car accident, it's actually gonna pay out $20,000, but if you die of any other cause death, it's gonna be the general $10,000, okay? So if she croaks over in front of the refrigerator, just push it on top of her and make it look like an accident, okay? All right, perfect. All right, so this second one, just to give you guys a couple of different options, this $10,000 should cover for now, but I'm hoping we're gonna be around for a couple more decades, right? So we wanna make sure that these are gonna cover all of our funeral costs. So this is a $15,000 option, it's $60 a month. Again, comes with that double accidental, and $20,000 will be $70 a month, and it's gonna come with that double accidental as well, okay? Now, Sue, these are all your rates. Mike, yours is a little different because we are a man. So it's a little bit more expensive, all right? So same thing for you. I want to show you 10, 15, and 20. Again, all of these are level whole life. So your $10,000 is $60 a month, $15,000 is $70, and your $20,000 is $100 a month, okay? Does all that make sense how I explained it to you guys? Any questions about how that works?
Do I pay every year till I'm 5?
It's a perfect question. So yes, so what we're doing is we're insuring you as a person, right? And what we want to make sure of, it's just like your car insurance, right? As long as you own the car, you have to pay insurance on it. Now, the way that this is, you can calculate this out. You will probably never pay into it as much as, you know, you're getting covered for. And we're covering you immediately. So like I said, if something happens to you tomorrow, this is gonna pay out to your family, okay? And that's really the protection that we're providing. Now, the way that these function, you guys, these are all non-medical. So as much as I wanna say that you qualify for these products, I'm not quite sure yet until you fill out an application, okay? That's how we know these are for sure an approved product. So what, the way that works is you just fill out an application. They're gonna ask you a couple more in-depth health questions, you know, legally, get all those fun questions in there. You all feel really healthy after I ask you those questions, I promise. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill out an application to for sure make sure y'all are approved for these products, okay? And nothing has to happen today financially. If you're not prepared for that, we can set a start date for that, all right? But we'll fill out the whole thing with those health questions, a couple of more information on how you want it to get started. And then we'll go ahead and submit it to the company and they'll give me an answer to let me know you've got the thumbs up of approval, okay? Are y'all ready to do that? Make sense?
Yes.
All right, so go ahead and grab me your driver's license because I want to make sure I have your spelling of your names correct, date of birth, everything like that. Whatever account you want this to be linked to, I'll need that routing and account number, okay?
Okay.
All right. That's how it's done. No. So
I want that one.
yeah. So I pretty much, that's how I start it. I don't even make them pick an option really until I'm into the application and I'm at the point where I have to put in an amount. I say, which one did you pick? So I'm never really asking them a question to force them to ask right now, other than, hey, go ahead and get your driver's license. We'll go ahead and get this started. Any questions about any of that, you guys? Anything that you wanted to ask me about?
I got a question. How do you deal with them not knowing what kind of medications they're on? Like while I'm taking medicine for cholesterol and high blood pressure, and I ask, all right, what kind of medicine is it? And they're like, I don't know. Then they start looking around the house for it.
Right, yeah. So if they don't know, I mean, I definitely try and get you, so you don't have the bottle with you, because if you have the bottle, I'll just write it down. You know, we're in the homes with the clients, so usually if they're taking it every day, they should have that on them. Mm-hmm. If they do not, I just get very specific about why they're taking it, and if they semi-remember what it starts with. Because once you get a little bit more involved, they're like, I don't know, it's like hydro something. I'm like, hydrochlorothiazide? They're like, how'd you know that? And you'll get to a point where you kind of get to remember the medications, but it is important. Like at the end of the day, I try and run that home because I don't want them to just tell me it's a blood pressure medication. I'm still trying to figure out the name because a lot of these medications can cross over with other treatments like congestive heart failure or something like that. So that's a really good question. At the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world because you can still run the Americo prescription check. And if they get cleared through that, then you're good to go. And I would continue with Americo.
Okay.
So there's always a way through the applications to figure out what they have. But really what we're doing on this sheet is to try and figure out the front end of that so you're not applying with multiple applications.
Okay.
So, but that's a good question.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
What if they have to think about what option works for them?
That's a great question, Miranda. So if they ever say, I want to think about it, I say that's perfectly fine, but since I'm here today, I really want to make sure that we can get you approved. Now you have 30 days to make any changes that you need to, whether that's increase, decrease, or cancel. But I stay really busy. I'm here all, you know, I go around this entire state, and so I need to make sure we can get you approved today. If y'all need to make those changes, feel free to at the end. That's kind of how I do it. Now, if they push a second time to say, no, like we don't do anything on the first try, it depends on the rapport that I've built with them if I'm gonna try and push further. But otherwise, honestly, what I will say at that point is, that's perfectly fine, y'all, but can I be really honest with you? And they always say yes. No one ever says no. I say, okay, if I'm being honest, like 9 times out of 10, if I walk out that door without at least putting something in place, you'll never call me back. And I don't mind that. If this is important to you guys, I'm happy to help you get the coverage. Or if you want to change it in the future, that's fine. But I stay really busy, and I know if I leave that door, this probably gets swept under the rug. So if this is important to you and you really do need time to think about it, I respect that. I will follow up with you guys. I'm really good at follow up. But I just want to know that this is something that is serious to you guys. Now, is this important to you? Does this make sense?
Yes.
It does make sense? Okay. So when would be a good time to follow up with you guys about it? Because I just want to make sure I touch base.
Probably the first of the month.
First of the month? Okay, that's perfect. I have a calendar right here. I'll go ahead and put you guys down and I'll follow up around the first of the month. Now do me a favor, when I do call you back, I'm gonna get you to put my number in your phone. So if you could grab your phone out right now, go ahead and put this number in your phone. So when I give you a holler, either way, y'all, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to help you and your family. So at the end of the day, if this isn't something that you wanna move forward with, just let me know. And because I don't wanna waste y'all's time, okay? So that's kinda how I phrase that. And that way, I'm not wasting my time with following up with them if they really don't want it. And you can tell. If I mean, me being that upfront and honest, most people get a little intimidated. They're like, yeah, you can follow up. But I can tell if they're sincere about what I want to hear them say, no, this is important to me. And when I hear that, great, I'll follow up with you. Because I mean, me naturally either, I'm not much, like I don't like to pull the trigger on stuff that fast either, myself. So I respect that. Now, I am trying to make sure they are covered because I've been in plenty of situations. And sometimes I do pull out situations that I've been in home where I've done this before and you know, a client has called me 2 days later and the husband passed away. So I just want to make sure we get some, you know, and I'll pull out those things. It just depends on the family situation. But I always try and push twice. And if I push the second time and they still don't want to, that's fine. I have plenty more appointments, plenty of families that need my help. So that's kind of how I move on from that. Good question. Any other questions, you guys? Yeah.
So when you go through their medicine and their health and it ends up being the big graded, how do you?
Oh, how do I present the graded option to them? That's perfect. So most of the time when someone has that much of a health problem, and they essentially know that they're not in the best of health. And so essentially what I'll do is I'll say, perfect. Well, now Mike, let's say Mike, think of the health situation.
Forgot about the oxygen machine in the back.
Oh, you forgot about the oxygen machine. That's right. That's not a problem at all. So that's something that you stay hooked up to regularly. You get a prescription for. Okay, perfect. All right. So what I'll do is I'll go through everything. I'll talk to Sue about her I always talk about the positives of everything. Everything is still a level whole life product. And I'm gonna say, Sue, you're in great health. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be able to get you this, and that. And I'm gonna say, Mike, now, because of that oxygen, you are what they've been called put into a different risk category, okay? So it's not that you're dying today, but because of that oxygen, what they're gonna do is they're just putting you in a different risk category than Sue is here, okay? So the way that works is basically they're just saying, hey, we need to make sure that you're gonna be good, all right? So what they're gonna do is they're gonna put you on what's called a graded policy. Do you know what a graded policy is? You do, awesome. Well, in case Miss Sue doesn't, I'm just gonna go ahead and explain it fully, all right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, that was perfect. And so the way that the graded policy works is the company's basically saying, okay, we need you to make it 2 years. All right, so if anything happens to you, Mike, after that 2-year mark, full death benefit gets paid out to your wife. Now, if anything happens to you of an accident within that 2-year mark, still full death benefit gets paid to you, Miss Sue. All right. Okay. The only thing is that if it's natural cause death within that 2 years, then they're gonna basically pay you all the money that you've paid into that policy back plus 10%. And that's basically, so it's kind of like I like to tell my clients, it's really like a savings account. Because listen, I work with so many different companies that because you're on that oxygen, all of them are gonna switch you to that graded product. But what I'm gonna do today is get you the best price one for sure. And you're healthy, you're gonna stay around way longer than 2 years. So, but heaven forbid if anything does happen in the next year of natural cause death, if anything, it's like a savings account. So you'll be taking this $100 a month and it's gonna be like putting $100 back per month towards that funeral, okay? But you're gonna make it past that 2 years and we're gonna get the full 20 grand, okay? Does that make sense? Any questions about how that works? No? Does that make sense, Denise? That's pretty much how that's a great question though, because that does happen a lot. And sometimes that does happen after I apply them, through America and they get kicked back. And then the only next option is a graded option. So at any time, you're always trying to say the positives about everything. And most of the time when I explain, hey, listen, you're in a different risk category because of X, Y, and Z, they're like, yeah, I get it, And so you're trying to point out why it's so great that I have all these companies and I'm gonna get you the best one. Make sense? Any other questions? That was a good one. Yeah.
What do you do if you schedule an appointment with a married couple, but only one of them is there when you show up, even though like you went through on the phone that they both need to be there?
I always try and reschedule.
Okay.
And I say, you know, since this is affecting like both of you guys, I want to make sure that, you know, y'all are both here. Some people still don't want to do that, and they're like, well, you know, like, let's just meet right now. And I'll say, okay, is this something that you can, are you like me and my husband where we have to make all the decisions together, or you pretty much, you make the decisions on your own and he makes the decisions on his own? And if they say, oh, we make the decisions together, I'll say, perfect, well, I'm back here tomorrow afternoon. When does he get home from work? Something like that. So I'm always trying to push for the reschedule when I know they'll both be there. If they're gonna be stubborn and say like, no, I really just make all the decisions, it doesn't matter if she's here or not, I'll say, okay, let's go ahead and do it.
Okay.
So, but I would say as a new agent, always try and reschedule and set that firmly, because you need to be able to build the value for both of them and paint the picture of, okay, if something happens to Mike, we wanna make sure you're not coming out of pocket 20 grand for his funeral, right? You know, and you have to make it pretty real for them. So.
Okay, well, let's say you just ran me, and I got declined,
Mm-hmm.
but I seem perfectly healthy.
Right.
What do you do?
So if you get declined, you're talking about in-home?
Yes.
Yeah. So I say, well, that's interesting. For some reason, something, now they don't tell me what it is if I'm looking at my computer screen. I say, well, they won't tell me what it is because of HIPAA, so you're protected. But obviously I'm missing something here. So is there anything in your background that you can think, anything at all you've ever been prescribed? Maybe you had a bout of something one time.
Think about the EpiPen.
You have an EpiPen? Okay. That shouldn't be a problem, but I'm gonna go ahead and write it down, just make sure that, you know, maybe that might be, but you know what,
I'm not sure.
it could potentially be that albuterol. Even though you're taking it for seasonal asthma, that actually is also prescribed for people with COPD and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is that's no problem at all. It's a blessing I work with this many companies. I'm gonna go to the next one and we're gonna go ahead and make sure you get approved with them, okay?
Okay.
And so then at that point, I'll probably go to a company that will tell me what's popping up. For me, I would probably go to AmAm next, American Amicable, because they'll give me the opportunity to say, oh, she's on albuterol, is she taking this for COPD? I get to say no, and then usually that gets approved, so. Yeah. Mike? You good? Yeah, good. All right, y'all. Well, if that's it, we'll go ahead and close it out.